Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wealth Empire Show. I'm so glad we could join us, and I'm excited about today's episode. I hope you're blessed wherever you are. Always a pleasure having you back and back again. I hope you'll enjoy the show. What is my personal story on marriage? I got married at age 26, and I was married for about 3 years. The thing I can say about how I settled down, a lot of the things that I know today about money, I did not know. So most of them, I learned them in hindsight. The first year was good, I could say, because definitely you're getting to learn the person. There's no much you can do other than just plan. But the second year was very tough, and it was characterized by mostly conflicts with money, with beliefs, values. My belief system, my value system was totally different. Let me say this at this particular time. Love is good because love is what brings you guys together. But love alone is not enough to keep a marriage. There requires a union of two like-minded people, two people who are going together. The word of God says that two cannot go together, two cannot work together unless they agree. However much marriage is God's idea, actually he's the one who authored partnership. And he said it's not good for man to be alone. I will prepare for them a helpmate, and the Holy Spirit will put them together. Two good people can have a very bad marriage simply because they're not understanding each other and they didn't talk. So what were some of the money tendencies in my marriage? To be very honest, personally, I've been brought up by a providing father. So I had a very strong father growing up. So I saw my dad providing everything for my mom. Even the businesses my mom did, my dad would start them. Even when they don't work, he would start another one and another one. So he was responsible, not only for us as his children, but also for our mother. So that is what was engraved in my mind as a little girl. So coming now into adulthood, I expected at the bare minimum, my partner would be able to provide or at least meet me half or whatever. I don't know what my expectation was, but it was not me having to cater for everything. But that is what now happened. Once we got together, the good person that I am, and I was working as an accountant at that particular time with an income. He was in business with a bit of uncertain way of earning money. Like he couldn't tell how much would come at the end of the month. That is an area that we did not really tackle, because my expectation was once we get married, he will revamp his business. I'll help him do that. I will help him do that. That was what I was thinking I will do. But inside the marriage, I found myself catering for, say, 95% of the bills. And I did it faithfully for like a year. But in the second year, it became like a burden. So now the arguments began. When do we expect that you will start chipping in? When do we expect that your income will also start coming to play? And as a human being, I'm only human. And I was young at that time. I didn't know what I know now. I was afraid to keep on asking. So mostly I harbored these feelings inside of me. But when now I would bring them out, it would be like an outburst. It would be like a complaint, like a lamentations, not like I'm asking in a good way. I'm asking in a way that the other partner, now my partner, felt probably like I'm attacking him or something like that. To summarize that, our money tendencies was we never used to plan money together as a couple. It was just rent has come due. It is not being paid, so I pay. Shopping has come due, so it's not being paid, so I pay. But we don't talk, because whenever we would try to talk about money, an argument would ensue. So what we did, probably what I did, is self-preserve myself, and I just persevered. But the more that pattern continued, the more now I think resentment came into play. What are the money tendencies you came into marriage with that you had to get rid of? I thought everybody is like me, or was brought up like me, or I assumed the kind of a background setup that I had growing up is what my partner got. And then I came to learn when we were together that he didn't have a present father, and he also probably didn't have mentors around him. I don't want to speak so much because that is his story to tell. But that was my observation, even at the earlier stages. Like when I would have a problem, I'm calling my dad. Him, when he had a problem, he had no one to call. When I want support, I had my support system with my sisters, my aunties, my uncles. I was coming from that kind of a family where there's a very strong support system. I assumed even him, that is what was happening. Little did I know that people are brought up in different setups. And that setup is very, very, very important when it comes to your money tendencies or your money beliefs or money habits. Because these habits are the ones that you keep repeating, then it becomes your money character. How people become hoarders is because they saw their parents stacking up money and not living a good life. So they naturally become hoarders of money. How people become thrifters and overspenders is because they saw that happening as kids. Because children, they don't listen to what you're saying. They watch what you're doing. So me, I watched and I grew up with that setup that a family plans their money together. The husband is supposed to provide. When you have a problem, you call your family. I came with an attitude like, you can't lack money and you have a family. How is that even possible? Then him, on the other hand, he didn't have that support system. So the first mindset I had to get rid of, people did not go through the same childhood background. Number two, I thought people can change in marriage. Like you can change somebody in marriage. I came to realize people change when they decide to change. You can't bring a person into change. No matter how much I talk to you about something, I can tell you in the morning, noontime, and evening, but I can only do that much. Even with our young people, when we're trying to teach them, you can only do so much by telling them. They will arrive at that awareness when they decide to. It's a decision people make to become aware of something. It's an interest that grows and you decide, I want to change my lifestyle from now moving forward. Yes, somebody has told you, but the awakening comes by you deciding that you want to change, that you want to get rid of this habit. Those are probably two of the main things. And then maybe thirdly, I realized not everybody wants to be wealthy. Some people just want to survive. Like pay bills, rat race, pay bills, bills have been paid, and that's it. Not everybody has this eagerness to live an abundant life, a life where you can give to others, a life where you want to help others. Not everybody is like that. I think in totality, I came in with an expectation that the person will be thinking like me, behaving like me, understanding me, and working with me. And that is what I realized. These are things you must talk when you're dating. When you get into marriage, there's no time to talk. The wheel is already running and things begin to pop up. What are the conversations you should have with your husband-to-be or wife-to-be during the engagement? What are the money conversations you should have? Number one, what is their money belief? What is money to them? Let them explain to you and you understand what do they think money is. Number two, what aspirations do they have in regards to money and wealth creation? Do they have any, and what are they? Number three, what are some of the habits they have? You need to understand, are they spenders? Are they hoarders? Do the tests. There are very many tests online, and you can Google. There are many financial advisors who have rolled out tests. You can go to their sites like moneyguy.com and just look at the test of who are you with money? How do you behave around money? What does money mean to you? How do you behave when you don't have money and when you have money? And then number three, ask questions like, what background did they have when they were growing up around money? Was their father working? Was their mother working? What setup was there? Because a child gets the money tendencies or money behaviors between age, say 5 to around 9. I don't want to say 7. Mostly we say 7, but around 9, I was still learning about money, the much I can remember. After that, after 14, after you become a teen, you already are. You can only enhance what you already are. And some of these habits that are formed or beliefs or the knowledge that is instilled in youth or children when they're growing up is very hard to cherish. Actually, let me say something here. There are two ways you can become good with money in terms of your mind. Money is a mindset. Creation of wealth is a mindset you create. So there are two ways that mindset can hit you. Number one, you can be raised with good parents who are teaching you the principles, the standards, how to earn money, how to invest money, how to multiply money, how to give money, how to tip, you can be lucky enough and blessed enough to have those kind of parents, or you go to a school that teaches about money. If that doesn't happen to you, which is the majority are not taught about money when they are growing up. The second way you learn about money is through an awakening. And how does this awakening happen? I like to call it the master's experience. For those who know Bible, where you meet with your source or your maker or God, and you have like a light bulb moment. And mostly, sadly, this has to do with a tragic experience. Either you become bankrupt, lose all your money, or you lose a loved one, or something just happens that shakes you up so much, and your life now becomes, you're asking yourself, what is the meaning of life? I'm part of that fraternity. Partly, I was taught about money by my parents, but it was not enough. They just taught me money is for paying bills. Money is for buying nice things. Don't borrow money. Actually, that's what I knew. Don't borrow money to eat. If you're going to borrow money, you're borrowing money to invest. But that's the match. But later in life, I went through, and I say my marriage was like a test of a learning. Call that experience a lesson. And I thank God for it. I don't even regret, because in that 3 years, I learned so much. I woke up so much. I went in as a naive girl. I came out as a very woke woman who wanted now to forge forward with money. But later in life, I went through another tragic experience, and I've mentioned it in other videos, where I lost my dad, and I had to ask myself, what is the meaning of life? Where am I going with this? I needed to just put that across, that for you to have an eagerness to create wealth, either it was created by your parents or you acquire it through a life experience. What I can add into what people should talk about when it comes to money I feel like I should stay here longer. What people should talk about is, how much are you earning? After you have understood their money philosophy, their money background, what they were told, what they are unlearning, relearning, that's a topic you should talk. You should know, it's not even an event. It's a continuous discussion that you should be having in that engagement period, until you harmonize and come up now with, you believe in this, I believe in this. How do we have now a common belief, the both of us? What do we believe in as a couple? Your earnings and his earnings should be something that is not hidden. Then speak about roles when you get to marriage. What is the expectation? Is my money and your money our money? Or is your money and my money our money? You get what I'm saying? Some people believe that a woman should not do anything, a man should do everything, and that's okay. Others believe you bring your money, I bring my money, we put it together, and we plan for our money. Others believe we cut half. You're taking care of these bills. You're taking care of these bills. Whatever. There's no blueprint. There's no way it's written. But you must have an agreement. Remember, I began by saying, two cannot work together unless they agree. So you have to have an agreement as a couple, as an entity. This I know with my heart, that marriage is an entity. It's a living entity, and it has its own life. Two people come together, they were living as separate entities, but when they come together, they become one. So that one needs to have a code of conduct, a constitution, a belief system. How much do we invest as a couple? How much do we spend as a couple? How much do we give as a couple? And if, for example, there is something someone was doing when they were single, talk about also what were the responsibilities that you had when you were single that you want to continue with, and is that okay with me? What are the responsibilities the other person had as a single person? And for example, they were giving their parents a certain amount of money. Should this continue? And do you do it for both in-laws, or is it one? Those are things that you should talk about, because inside of marriage, they become very, very hard topics. What are the money habits one needs to make or cultivate so that they make it through a tough time? Live beyond your means at all times. Well, not within. Within is when you get your first job. You're just trying to get a nice wardrobe, buy a new phone, set up. That should take you like 3 months. After that, start living below your means. Practice minimalism. especially as a young person. For when you're very old and kids have come and responsibilities have come, then it becomes a more difficult adventure. But anything can be done. Once you start earning, let me first speak to the young people and then I'll talk to the older generation later. Once you start earning an income, whether you're 18, 19, 20, 25, or whatever time, because there are people who spend so much time in uni doing, 7 years, 9 years, up to PhD before they start looking for their job. They are rare, but they're there. Set up yourself very, very quickly, because there are various levels of wealth that you need to go through before you start actually now becoming stable. Set your temperature or the thermometer and say, this is the kind of life I want to live. I want to live in this estate. I want to live near a hospital, near a school. Set it up. Then from there, use your 3 months to set that up. Buy a nice couch, buy a nice small TV, nice TV. Just set up. And then that setup you do, don't change it for another 3 years, if possible. Why am I saying that? Or 2 to 3 years. So that now, as your income grows, you create now a space where you can have income to invest. So when you get your first salary, let's say it's 20,000, 30,000 or whatever, you will have to try and start living within 20,000 and below. But the first 3 months, you can use all of it to set yourself up. But after that, you start now having a percentage going to savings. Because the first thing you need to do as a person now who is earning income is to have an emergency fund. That's a buffer for like 6 to 12 months of your monthly expenses, so that if anything happens to your job, because the job market changes every day, companies close every day, people feel like they don't like this job and you want to change, something can just happen and you don't want to continue. You will have enough money for 6 to 12 months to be able now to look for some other vocation or stabilize before we can say now you are happy again. But if you're blessed enough to stay in the same job, you'll realize within a year, once you have set up your emergency fund, now you have enough money to now start investing and say you're creating wealth. Because your emergency fund will be earning you something, but it's not enough to say that you're creating wealth. All right? That's the first habit, living below your means. The second habit, you have to think about how much do you want to help other people? We call it black tax. How much? Because this is something that affects a lot of people. Once you get a job, you are guilt-tripped to start feeling like, because my friends don't have a job, I should be helping them. Because my cousins, my sisters, my home. Start asking yourself, at what level will I be helping and with how much? And start now having those habits of how far can I go? Like creating boundaries with your own money. And then the third thing you need to do after now you determine that is to start looking for ways to protect your savings or your money or your estate. You're trying to build a small empire. So with time, you will find risks. Let's say you already have a car or something like that. You will need to start having insurance for protecting that property, any other property that you're getting, even around your medical cover. Because one of the things I know that erode savings very, very quickly is when you get sick and you don't have a medical cover. If you don't have a medical cover where you work, you need to start thinking of how to protect yourself through a medical cover. That's number 3. And maybe lastly, number 4, start educating yourself on how to create wealth very early. And this is another continuous journey you will do. There is no end to learning about money. Even the wealthiest of the wealthy, they are still learning about money. So the 4th thing you need to do is continuous learning on how to create wealth. Reason being, the markets are changing. I say the job market is changing. The world is changing. We have a lot of people who work from home now and they don't leave their houses. So if you're doing a business where you want to sell everything, you want to sell something to everybody, how do you reach even the people who don't come out into the offices? So you have to constantly be learning about, digital marketing. How do I start a side hustle? How do I get myself out of the rat race? And one of these fine days, probably I'll come and talk about how to escape the 9 to 5. Because the 9 to 5 is where all of us start sometimes. Some people are very lucky not to get into the 9 to 5. If you can avoid getting into the 9 to 5, it would be nice. But some of us have to start with the 9 to 5. And then from there, now you escape the 9 to 5 and build another empire where you can do what you want to do and earn money while at it. I love this one very much. What were the green flags on money management you had while you were married? On my side, I already had an income. That was a green flag. Another green flag on my side, I was already saving in a circle, and I knew about money because I had the financial background. So I knew I need an emergency fund. I need to save in a circle so that one day I can take a loan and start a business. I knew I had basic knowledge or above basic knowledge about money. The number 3 green flag on my side, I had been brought up with a lot of money management coaching from my dad and from the society where we grew up in. And then by the time I was married, green flag number 4, I was on my 3rd job. It was not my first job. I got my first job at 19. My second job, I got it at around 21. And then my 3rd job, I got it at 23. So when I was getting into marriage, I had like the most stable job that you could get in my career line. So I was quite stable. In those years, the amount of money I was earning at that time was considered above average. Like most people are not earning that money. So I would say that was good. So I was stable. Green flags on his side, he was in business and not employed. In my head, I knew if we have 2 people working and coming home very late at night, when we have children, how is that dynamic going to work? Who is going to take care of what? Because both of us will be tired. I was working in a very, very busy firm, an accounting firm. So I knew if he comes feeling the way I'm feeling, then we are going to be losing touch with each other, going to be losing touch with kids, losing touch with people, our household and stuff. So one of the green flags I saw on his side was he was already in business, which I thought now from there we can pump it up, revamp it, and then it will give us an income. The second green flag, he was a believer. So he was a tither, and I liked that very much. I used to feel like I still believe that giving 10% of your income is something you must do, because the Bible says that try me, bring 10%, a tenth of all your increase to the storehouse, God's house, so that there may be plenty, even in your homes. I'm paraphrasing, but that's how I understand the scripture. And then it says, try me and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing on you that there will be no room enough to receive it. I'm a tither, and I believe in tithes. I know there's a lot of information out there, but tithe, I look at it as an obedience to God. Not more like I'm tithing so that I can be multiplied. I'm tithing so that I can get a miracle. I'm tithing so that I can... It's not a sin. It's not even a commandment. It's just obeying God on what He has said. Doesn't mean anything will happen to you when you don't tithe, but you have some peace knowing that the person who has given you the 100% is allowing you to keep 90%. So you can part with 10% to give to the house of God. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you've gotten something. Always a delight to have a discussion. And there's no end to learning about money. We're in this journey together. And from that time, I was married until now, I have learned so much. And I can help myself and help others so much. So keep watching, subscribe, like, and then we'll keep learning. I promise you there will be a lot you will learn on this channel moving forward on money. We haven't stopped talking about money and couples. We will continue. It's a journey we have begun, and probably in the future we'll even bring a specialist or other people to give us their journey. God bless you. Bye-bye.